Hi, everybody. We are live. Welcome to Upriseastrology Podcast. My name is Aylin. I am an astrologer and tarot reader, and I give forecasts. That's sort of my specialty. Let me just mute my other mic real quick. And so we are going to be streaming live every Friday starting from today. I'm super excited about this live and this new, let's call it a forecast show. That's what this is going to be. So I want to go over a few things of what it is that I'm going to be covering every single week. We're going to start with this template and then see where it takes us from here. I don't really have too much of a big plan. I just want to make sure that we are going live and we're taking a look at the astrology collectively and then also at tarot. But what do I want to do? So first of all, my intention is to prep you for the upcoming week by looking at transits, the most important transits. But we will go over specifically every single week, the North Node, the South Node, where are they at? Those are really important to take a look at. We will also be going over the Sun's transit to see where we are focusing on what is our awareness going to be on, what is the Sun's message, the heart of the matter. That is what the Sun is all about. And then we're going to take a look at the moon. Really important, right? Because the moon is going to give us what we're introspectively working on. More than just our emotions, I think the moon is giving us sort of an inquiry. What's the question of the week? What is it that we're really working through? And I believe that when we're taking a look at these three aspects, we'll get a really good picture of what we're going to be experiencing over the course of the upcoming week. So we then will pull some collective cards. I have some cards in the background here. I'll show you what cards we're going to be using. I have 3 different sets because the first set is going to be taking a look at the collective, sort of where we're at. What other things should we be aware of? What are the other messages that are coming through when we're taking a look at the cards? So that's one other thing we're going to take a look at. And then at the very end, I will be picking one sign that will get special messages for the week ahead. I am planning on doing individual still astrological and tarot forecasts for each of the signs, but we are going to be taking a look at every single week at one particular zodiacal sign, whoever I'm going to be pulling. And the way that I'm going to do this is I have this dice, this astro dice. We're going to just throw it and see what sign needs the messages the most. And then we're going to go over the most important tarot messages for that sign. And if you're interested on how to work with me, then at the very end, I'm going to go over some of the ways in which you can work with me, in which you can get a reading for you personally, and also how you can support the show. So let's get started. We are going to be diving into the charts first. So I'm going to pull up the charts, but first, before I do that, I'm going to pop up the chat window just in case. I know this is a live, forecast for the first time, so we'll probably grow as we continue. But if you're joining in, let me know where you're joining in from, and what exactly you want to know. Most importantly, why you're interested in astrology, how you use astrology, and then maybe another question is, what do you want to know most about? Right? What are some of the things that you want to know most about when it comes to, for your own way of utilizing and making the best of the astrological transits and the knowledge that we all are getting from the transits, right? And then also our intuition combined with that. How can you be best prepared? At least that's my intention for you. So if you want to know something else in addition to that, I want you to tell me, okay? It's going to be tropical, and I'm going to use the whole sign system to read the charts. I use other systems as well. I do not stick to just one. I believe that it is in the hand of the person who reads the charts and how they connect to astrology the best way in order to make their interpretations. So we will be going tropical. Thank you, Joshua, for asking that question. All right. So everybody who is listening to this on the podcast, you are more than welcome in the future to join here on YouTube as well. Then you can, kind of interact with me more in a more personal way and via the chat. So we're going to pull up the charts. Let me just go ahead and do that real quick. We're going to start with the North and the South Node. Let me share the screen with you. All right. So everything that I'm going to be giving you guys is going to be with the time of Eastern Standard Time. I am in Florida, so you're going to get all of the charts read via the Eastern Standard Time. And really important before I get started, I think this is really important to say because there are so many astrologers and tarot readers and all sorts of readers out there. I do not know you guys, right? We're getting to know each other via this beautiful platform of connecting. So it's really important for me to mention that whatever it is that I'm saying here comes with a combination of what it is that I've studied, and then also my background in the knowledge of this powerful tool and my intuition. If anything here that is being discussed absolutely does not sit with you, you don't read the charts that way, I want you to just move on and find someone who is the best reader for you, okay? Because we're all very different and we all speak this language into our world in a different kind of a way. I told you already what my intention is with this work. And I just want to make sure that you guys are listening to your own compass, right? Like, I can only give interpretation so much, and my intention is to help you guide. And my intention is for all of us to grow in the awareness of what is coming so that we have some preparation. That is totally a Virgo thing to say, right? That's what my sun sign is. So I wanted to just make sure that I put this into your periphery because it is super important to know that I am not telling you that what I'm saying is the end all be all, because I believe that, the soul that you are here, you are in charge and you have your own compass. And then together we open up that conversation. That is my intention with this work. And it's not my intention to tell you what to do. Okay. So this is really, really important because we're connecting via this type of a platform. Once the live stream ends, that's it. We just go back to the videos and keep watching and just take whatever works for us, right? So I wanted to just put this out there. All right, without any further ado, let's take a look at the North and South Node. I'm just going to start with where we're at right now. And that is what you're seeing here with the chart. So this chart is for today, Friday, but this report is going to be for March 14th through the 20th. Okay. So where are the nodes at right now? Well, we have the North Node in Taurus and the South Node in Scorpio. And I want to simplify what it is that I'm saying as we go along, and you guys have more questions. We'll do more deep dive into your questions as well. But to keep things simple, the North Node in Taurus most definitely is a focus right now in our collective to safety, feeling a grounded sense of safety, and then also feeling a value, okay? A value that is perhaps also changing over the next 18 months for a lot of us based on everybody else's value changing in the world. The North Nodes are going to give us a bigger picture of where we're kind of are at with the collective and what it is that we are working through. That is how I'm reading that. Okay. So we have the North Node right now at 24 degrees in Taurus. So we have been really focusing on where our values belong and where they don't belong. The number 24 is a number that deals with how we really feel and having a distinction in our own emotion and the emotion of what the world is presenting at this time to us. So with the 4, as above, so below, we are listening a lot more to our intention and what it is that we are wanting to ground ourselves in, or what we know our value is, and we want to ground ourselves in that. So the topic here has been with the North Node, or the plot, or sort of the theme right now has been, where do I really belong and where my values belong within my life and then out there in the world? What do I actually feel comfortable drawing into my life, or what I'm even drawn to out there in the world? And what is it that I'm not drawn to? What do I shut down at this time? Like, I don't want to do this type of thing because it doesn't make me feel valuable anymore. I believe that that is where the North Node has been taking a look at. Okay. Now, the South Node in Scorpio is most definitely focusing on a lot of our needs, but needs that require boundaries. Whenever I think about Scorpio, I always think about boundaries. I think about, necessities that we have that allow for us to live this life, either really empowered, or if we don't have the proper boundaries, then we're living this life where the boundaries are being crossed. And now it kind of, penetrates in a way our necessities, but then it leaves us maybe in this place where we're super disempowered. We could go a lot deeper into this, but again, I'm going to keep it simple. So we've been sort of looking at where we are not having proper boundaries in the collective, in the world, especially right now with everything that we're seeing in the news and all of the tension that is rising, even in the politics worldwide. We see that there are boundaries that we have to reassess in the collective. And what does that really look like, so that we can continue to have a sense of value, or things that are actually really valuable. And these could be tangible items too, that give us a safety and a sense of we're, here to not just survive, but we're also here to thrive, right? So that's sort of the themes right now between the North Node and the South Node. Now, what is happening during this week, the upcoming week between the 14th and the 20th, is that the South Node and the North Node are going to move from 24 degrees into 23. And I want to just move forward to kind of show you guys when this is happening. And this is really important, because then now when this happens is we're going to shift into a different storyline, or a different part of the story. Okay. The story continues to unfold. So on the 18th, that is when the North Nodes are switching into different degrees. So we have the Taurus North Node now at 23 and the South Node at 23. Obviously, they're always traveling together. But if you're new to astrology, the North and the South Node, they're connected. They're invisible spots in the sky where the sun and the moon intersect. And so what we're seeing here is they are switching degrees. So this is a big deal. So you might notice this shift. Okay. You might notice this shift on the 18th, on Friday, that during this time, we are going to be really interested in wanting to think things through. Now that we have figured out where our value belongs and where it certainly doesn't belong, where we have to sharpen our boundaries in order for us to continue to hold a particular value or to create a new value. Okay. There could be two versions of this. Now, what we're taking a look at moving into the later part of next week is, well, what's the bigger picture? And we have to think things through. Are we thinking things through? What are the impacts of us creating this kind of a value moving forward? Is this really setting me up? And is this also meeting my needs? So the collective is going to be focusing a lot on the bigger picture, and there will be a lot of communication going back and forth, perhaps even things that we didn't think about that could have been an impact before, but we missed this part, but now we will not. This is really important because this sort of preps to what is coming in April. Okay, April is a huge month where a lot of what we have been thinking through, or a lot of the concept that we have been, entertaining becomes real. More on that later, but the North Node switches into 23 will give us now an idea of what the bigger picture is going to look like if boundaries are not held, if boundaries are penetrated, if boundaries are, held, what does it look like even? What do we have to make real? And why do I say that? What is it that we need to make real? Is because Taurus does deal at some level with real practical approaches. So we're going to think through new approaches, new practical approaches. Some will deal with resources that we may have or resources that we don't have, that now we have to go get those resources, or we will think through what it would look like if we didn't have them. What could we rely on? Again, this is all about safety right now with the North and the South Node in Taurus, but in particular with the collective. Okay. I'm going to pause here real quick and just go back into the chat. So that's the biggest thing with the North and the South Node. The next thing we're going to take a look at is the sun, the sun's transit for next week. Again, if you're just joining, this is going to be for March 14th through the 20th. And if you're here joining for the first time, hi, welcome. My name is Aylin. It's pronounced like island without the D. That's the best way to remember it. And welcome. I hope that you enjoy the forecast that I will be providing. I will be live every Friday moving forward. I just haven't made up my mind yet. Will we be on the time? Like, will we be live at 11 or 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time? We'll see which one will work better. So I might switch back and forth a little bit. So if you're here and you want to say hi in the chat, please do. And let me know where you're tuning in from. So Joshua says, I'm a tropical Libra, but an astronomical Virgo. Constellations move 1 degree every 72 years. So 15 degrees Scorpio. Thank you for sharing that. Again, if you're here, tuning in, just, this is supposed to be an interactive sort of live. So let me know. Oh yeah. Hey, is it Damien? Is that how you pronounce your name? I don't want to, I'm like horrible with how to pronounce names. So I just want to make sure. You're asking how long is the wait list for a reading right now? If you want a recorded reading, so you purchased a reading and then I send you a recorded reading, that takes about 21 business days. My personal readings, the one-on-one where we're live together on Zoom, that one is available June of 2022. So right now I'm booked until June of 2022. So thank you for asking that. I feel like, Damien, you've been with me for a while, haven't you? You've been subscribed to my channel for a while. I just really appreciate you always commenting on my videos. Thank you for that. I'm just happy to serve you guys and know that this work is, making a difference for you guys. Otherwise, why be here? Yes. 23 degrees Scorpio. So you are a very in tune Scorpio. Very in tune. 23 degrees. You are definitely very in tune with thoughts and communication and intention, not only yours, but other people's intentions. It's like a hyper-focused Scorpio. Okay, so we're going to move on to the sun. So currently, we are moving through the Pisces Sun. What's the Pisces Sun? Well, most of us know, right? A lot of things about the zodiacal signs. I mean, there's a lot of things that are being given as far as information now about the sun signs or the sign in general. I believe that right now, during this particular transit in this Pisces season, we are truly focusing on our intuition in a way where it is talking to us in a more keen way, or there is an awareness on our intuition in a much more keen way, where we are not able to take our mind or our heart off of particular subjects when it comes to our faith and what it is that we ultimately believe in. Now, the sun currently, or at the start of the week, is going to be at 24 degrees. Let me just make sure that I'm aligned. So on the 14th, yep, 24 degrees. It is now going to start to finish up during that week from the 14th until the 20th. It's going to finish up its transit in Pisces. Okay. So here we see the sun at 24. It is together with Neptune at 22, which is magnetizing and also just expanding the conversation of our faith and what it is that we believe in when it comes to this life, right? How do we source our information? This is so utterly important right now due to the tension that is rising everywhere. Because as you can tell, since 2020, not a whole lot of different areas or different groups of people have been getting along. And now we are sort of coming into this sense of, okay, well, what is the right thing to believe in, or what is the right thing that I know where my faith belongs? Like this is the way in which I feel, or this is the way in which I know to be my intuition. This is how I'm sourcing it from. And what's my connection to where I'm sourcing it from? There is a conversation within our own heart that is focusing on that. The sun is a representation of where we are as far as our awareness and heart and matter in the collective. So for 24 degrees, we're taking a look at our faith and where it belongs. 25 degrees, that is going to be a very big day in the sense of us now truly connecting to what we know to be true in our heart. If you have been asking yourself a question, if you've been doubting something, if you have been in this place where you just didn't know where life is taking you, on Tuesday, when the sun goes into 25 degrees, this is when you will start to see synchronicities. This is when you'll start to really get a sense for that things are about to shift and things are about to change, and that your faith hasn't been misleading you if you've been in tune with your heart and your heart's needs. Okay. I'm going to move forward as we discuss this day by day. So that's Tuesday. Now on Wednesday at 26 Pisces, we are going to now feel ready to be comfortable in our own faith after we have been really working through where our values belong. So we've been kind of putting a lot of our efforts into, or you may have been experiencing putting a lot of our efforts into where does my value belong? Where do I have to have boundaries? Well, that sort of leads us back to the conversation of, okay, I'm really comfortable with this because this is what I believe in. This is what I hold to be true. And it ultimately leads to decision-making towards midweek and the end of the week. Now, moving forward into Thursday, that's when the sun will be at 27 degrees. This is when we're starting to get ready for the full moon in Virgo, which I'm going to be talking about here in just a moment. And then 28 on Friday, this is when we, I think the day could start a little bit wonky just because at 28, we are having to take a look at making something a bit more real, or something feels more real in our life. And we have to sort of begin to nurture this aspect in our heart now a lot more. And, you know, it could be sort of a bit of a day where you may have to ground yourself before you move on to the tasks or whatever it is that you're doing for that day. Then Saturday, 29. If you know anything about 29, if you've been following the degrees at all, if you are someone who has 29 in your chart, I know I do. So I'm definitely connected to this degree. 29 is a degree where things can be intense. Most of the time, they are intense because we're sort of finishing up an energy. Okay, we're finishing up, we're wrapping up the energy. It requires for us to step up our game and to become it. Okay, it's all about being in integrity because 2 and 9 add up to 11. This is a degree where we have to walk the walk, okay? And we can't just talk about it anymore. So we got to make it real. And this is going to be a day where, you know, your emotions are going to be heightened just because it is in Pisces. So you have to rely on your faith a lot more. But then, bam, we come into Sunday and we are in Aries season. So happy birthday to all of the people already in advance who are in Aries. So this is going to be a time when we are going to just wrap up and strengthen our faith and then move into Aries season with our faith more in tune. Okay, that's the opportunity here. Everything is always an opportunity with astrology because we also have to participate in it in order to make it work. Okay, so that's the sun. Let's move on to the moon. The moon is going to be transiting, moving, let's go 7 days. 7 days back. All right. So when we come into Monday, we are going to now have the moon transit through, sorry, let's go back to 1 day so we can kind of just go through it day by day. So Monday, the moon is going to be in the sign of Aries. I'm sorry, Leo. So that is when we're going to just feel, I feel like the beginning of the week is going to be a little bit fired up. Okay. The reason it's fired up is because we feel that as we come into this week that we really want to make things work in our life, but our heart is in it. Okay. So that's how the week starts. That's what I'm forecasting. Now we're going to move up, obviously, building towards this full moon in Virgo. So then the moon passes into Virgo. We're going to start to become hyper aware of a lot of energies, a lot of the things that we're doing, all of our efforts, anything that we're doing from the moment we wake up until we go to bed. Whenever the moon is transiting through Virgo, my experience has been that we're hyper aware. So this is something that is going to, I believe, happen again with this transit. We're definitely going to be hyper aware. Okay, so then we're moving into the full moon in Virgo. So let's go back to get, sorry, we're moving forward because it's at 27 degrees. So let's do it. Here we are. Okay. This is the full moon in Virgo. This full moon in Virgo is such a powerful full moon. We're going to feel this way into Monday, okay, of the following week. So Monday the 21st. Why am I saying that? Now, let's break it down. The full moon is at 27 degrees. So the moon is going to be at 27 Virgo and the sun is going to be at 27 Pisces. At the time when the full moon is apex, we are going to get to a theme here where we feel that something in our life is becoming real as a result of what is happening in the world. It is sort of the best way I can describe this energy here is that Pisces is our faith and Virgo is making the faith real in our life. So we're working out what it is that we want to become real in our life based on our faith. But because it's at 27, this is a powerful cutting something out in a powerful way and moving into that action. It's an action-oriented number or degree, but it does come with a cutting out of something. Now, in a way, this cutting out is supported by a hyper faith or by source or whatever it is that you believe in. I'm gonna call it source That is how I relate to it. Now, what is happening during that time, as the full moon is also apex, it is going to be square the galactic center at 27 degrees in Sagittarius. What's Sagittarius? It's our belief. It's the story. 27 is where we are now on a new path. But this path is there's hyper action behind it. We're ready to do it. We're ready to do it because it feels we have to. There's a have to behind it, not because we're pressured, but because we are so in tune with our heart and we're so in it that there is no turning back. If you have been in this place where you didn't know where your life is going next, these are events, I believe, that during the full moon that is going to become apex, where we're going to realize like there's no turning back. If you are on the cusp of making decisions of who you're becoming at this time, if you've been switching a job, if you've been thinking about moving, if you have been thinking about, making something become real in your life, stepping into a new identity even, this is becoming a lot more real and there's action behind it. And there are synchronicities that are going to show up all week in order to support it. So there is a potential now that you are seeing that you had not seen before, but it comes with taking a risk, because still at this time, we're not able to see our way through the noise. There's a lot of noise. There is a lot of tension, and we're not going to be able to see our way through any of it until October of this year. The tension is going to rise. The noise is going to rise. And we see that. We see that our safety, and our necessities, there is a risk here because of some things not being in our control. So in a way, this full moon in Virgo is bringing us back into control in some aspects of our life. And that is the potential here, is for you to feel empowered, for you to no longer disengage in certain parts of your life that the cost is too high if you do. That is what I believe that this full moon is bringing us. Not everyone is going to take this invitation. That is why astrology is so beautiful, because it is going to be in cycles as we continue to take on different invitations in our lives. And when I say invitation, it's an energetic invitation to make a shift, to make things different in your life, whatever it is that you're working on, right? So here, during this time, I believe that this is going to be super powerful for some of the people that are, they have their eye on making shifts in their life. This is your shift right here. Like, this is the invitation. If you don't take this invitation, will you take another one? I don't know. This is a powerful one. This is one where all your actions are supported, and it's going to last a really long time. Now, the galactic center, in my opinion, is where our spiritual efforts and the source is coming from. What is the eye on, right? Like, where are things coming from? The galactic center gives us an idea of that. At 27 degrees, this is sort of a spiritual command to take action now. There's no other greater time. Like, we're here to take this action. That is the feeling behind this square between the full moon and the galactic center. That's how I'm looking at it. And it's followed with change. And that change is real. Okay. Why is it real? Because it's Virgo, and Virgo deals with real change. Okay. With reality, with making things very real in our lives. There's ways to do that. There's ways to get back into our life in a real sense, but it's not just becoming more real. It is also backed up with our faith now. So that is my prediction for this week. Okay. So we covered this. Now, one of the other most important transits that I want to talk about before we move on to the cards is on the 19th, the day after. Let's clear this up a little bit. And let me just go back into the chat and see. Thank you for saying that, Damien. Thank you. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the 18th here, or forward to the 18th. And I just want to just say real quick, sometimes English is not my first language. I was born and raised in Germany. And so sometimes when I say things, they come out maybe a little bit weird. Just know I am still learning how to speak English. It's been a forever effort. Okay, so here on the 19th, the thing that I want you to pay attention to on the 19th, I think that this transit is going to be really, really important. That is going to be with Venus. So where is Venus? Right over here. Okay. Venus is right here at 12 degrees. It's sandwiched in between Saturn and Mars. It is going to make a square to Uranus at 12 degrees. Now, as we are taking more charge in our life, what does this square really mean? This is the beginning stages of relationship dynamics changing. But how will they begin to change? They begin to change because we are now changing our belief about what is happening in our life, because there is a real evidence of it. And as a result of it, there are some surprising conversations and surprising incidences that may come up when it comes to relationship dynamics, because the values are changing. We're learning a lot more about our values changing. And so we now get this hint or this feeling almost, okay, that our relationships are going to change as a result of it as well. Venus has been together with Mars for quite some time. Here, Mars and Venus are going to say, okay, you have options here. You can either move forward with this change and the values that are changing, but then your relationship has to change as a result of it. Or are you going to cut the relationship out? Are you going to cut something out in your life? There is a surprising element here with this where we have to kind of up level from this aspect as well. So this is the day after. Now, when we come into, when I said before, when we come into the 29 energy with the sun the very next day, and that is going to be on Sunday. This is when we start to begin to kind of feel a little bit, okay, I am not very certain how this is going to go. So we have to ground ourselves. So a lot of energy here. So a lot of energy this week that I think we've been waiting for in a sense, but then it also comes with a sense of reality with it as well, that I think might be challenging for us for a 24-hour period, because we have to sort of allow for some space. So try not to do too much over Saturday, Sunday, and try to kind of chill out a little bit more and kind of process if you have an intense week, right? Again, we're all a little bit different. Everybody's going to experience this a little bit differently, but that's my prediction. Okay. I want to now move forward. If you guys don't have any questions, I'm going to move forward into drawing some cards for the collective. So let me just pick up my cards here real quick. So the first set of cards I am going to be using, I love these cards. They are the metaphoric associative cards, the universe illusion. I got this card set from a really cool designer on Etsy. And the cards are just pictures. They're just drawings. They're like, I think there's 52 of them. Sorry, there's 150 cards. What am I talking about? 52. There's 150 cards that have beautiful art on them. And they are very deep cards in the sense that they have a lot of sort of very deep meaning behind the drawing in a way. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pull a card to see anything else that we might kind of find out about next week. What's like the vibe and the theme of next week? And is there something else we need to know about it? So I'm going to shuffle. And because it's a lot of cards, I'm just going to shuffle a few times and then pick a card from the top. So how have you guys been doing? How are the energies unfolding for you? I want to know. What are you working on right now? Are you working on anything? Maybe you're not, right? I want to know. You guys tell me. All right, so let's take a look. The top card. Look at that. So the first thing that I'm getting from this card is the most important thing here is time. This is really interesting because I feel that there is a certain time that's up. Okay, there's a time that's up. What is the time here? It has to do with changes. It has to do with there are certain things or certain karmic even timelines, they are done. They're totally done. So we're stepping into a new timeline. That is what the card is, I feel like, representing. You guys tell me what else pops up for you. But this is really important, right? Because I feel that, again, that is sort of the feeling I'm getting behind this powerful full moon that is squaring the galactic center. It's like a spiritual sort of command in a way that is coming through where we feel, even if things are going great in your life, where you feel like you're going to up level that great even further. But at the same time, tension is going to up level at the same time too. We live in duality. It's not just going to be one. Tension is going to, rise as well. And some people feel like that they will no longer have patience for certain aspects in their life. So you might even see certain people that are making moves or changes in their life that are going to be surprising. Again, this goes hand in hand with that Venus to Uranus square, finding out about other people or relationship dynamics where you're finding out, wow, their life is changing, their story is changing even more so than it ever has been before. You guys tell me what you see with this card as well, because I thought that that was a very, very interesting card. What do you guys see? I'm just going to take a look at the chat real quick as well. Let me just go back. I'm navigating too many windows. Let me go out of the share of the screen real quick. As time moves on, we are going to sharpen these sharing of the screen and stuff a lot more in the future. Right now, I'm just sort of beginning. We're diving in to doing this show in this kind of a way. And I do not know how to get out of the screen right now. Okay, here we go. There you go. Wonderful. Okay, so let me show this card again. The collective message for next week is an image of the hourglass. And this image is very powerful because, again, like we sort of discussed everything else, it is tying the predictions together, the forecast together here. This hourglass to me is a representation of us feeling like that certain timelines are ending in our life. If you have been suffering from something, if you have been stuck inside of a storyline, this storyline is done now. That is going to be a powerful reality next week after this full moon. There's an apex now where we realize that story is over. Now, at the same time, for some people, they will feel like their energy or their emotions are over it, and their time personally is up with it as well. So you might hear about relationship changes. You might hear about people and their values changing as well because of this hourglass, but it's bigger than that. It has a lot to do with the spiritual timeline, because there is a lot of tension that is rising. And so at some point we have to change in order to change the outcome around us. So that is what I believe the hourglass is going to be all about. And again, if you're joining in, you guys let me know what it is that you are seeing here with this. All right. The next thing we are going to be doing is I am going to be now throwing my little dice to see what sign needs the messages the most for next week. So let's do that. Of course, I don't have my dice here on my desk. So let me go grab it real quick. I'll be right back. All right, I am back, everybody. So what we're going to do is I have this dice right over here. I'm just going to show you real quick. It has all of the 12 signs on it. I'm sure you guys have seen this before. I'm going to put this into this little thing. We're going to shake it up and see what sign we're going to pull. And then I'm going to pull cards for you guys. Oh my goodness, Sagittarius. Okay, so the messages for next week are going to be, additional messages are going to be for Sagittarius. I will get back to the chat in just a moment. So Sagittarius, we're going to draw 3 cards. One of what to really just focus on when it comes to letting certain things go, or where the energies have been, what next week will bring, and then what to focus on. Okay. Because we're always in this path and cycle, I feel, a lot of us, where we're working on shedding something, adding something, you know, this is kind of like the ebb and flow of things. So I feel like this is going to be a good approach for you guys. So the cards I'm drawing are from this deck. I absolutely love this deck, the Light Seers Tarot. They have done such a beautiful job with this deck. It is colorful. It is bright. It's not, sometimes I feel like tarot cards can be super, excuse my language, but super fucking dark. Okay. Like they're so just dark, and like, I don't want to draw or work with these cards. And that's just my preference. You know what I mean? I like color. I like simplicity also. I feel like they have done such, like they nailed this deck. It's like one of the best decks out there. They nailed this one. Beautiful representation of the tarot cards. All right. We are going to draw 3 cards from the top. We shuffled enough. First card. Okay. This is not surprising to me for you, Sagittarius. You know why? Because the 4 of Swords popped up as an energy that is sort of over. Okay. You've been in this place where you have had a lot of inspiration, a lot of creative thoughts, a lot of things that you have been maybe working on behind the scenes, or maybe asking yourself how to improve a particular skill or a particular skill set, or some kind of thing that you are really passionate about, but you maybe didn't have the space and the time to understand how you would go about this. But there's been also this frustration and this annoyance because you had to wait. That wait is over now. Okay. If you have been applying for something and you're looking to get an answer, some kind of communication, it's going to move forward. You are going to be moving forward with dates and timelines or meetings. I'm seeing something for you guys where it is going to be a beautiful new sort of movement forward when it comes to your ideas, something you're passionate about, and you're kind of coming out of this sleepy energy a little bit. Felt a little bit like sleepy energy. It's so many things that you're ready, you're fired up about it, but then maybe outside of you, a lot of other things weren't ready. People weren't ready. Maybe some people were even like arguing, and then the decision making was dependent on a group of people, but it was kind of out of your hand. That time is over. Okay. That's what I'm seeing with this. Now, look at this. I mean, you can't make this up. The Sun card, it's beautiful. Well, what's the Sun card representing here? Exactly what we just said. Next week is all about a new charge and a new energy, fresh energy that you will feel, and you will actually feel like you can now move forward. Now, what was the lesson though in this? Is it this way on the screen? Sorry. This was the first card. The lesson was that during this time, you learned a lot about not only being patient, but really about how to manage your energy when things aren't ready. Okay. So with the Sun card, I feel like what this is all about is you're starting to realize what happens is that when you actually wait, there is a value in when you're ready to like take charge and move forward now in your life, when you're ready to announce that project, when you're ready to move forward in your life, there is a different kind of energy after a waiting period. Rushing sometimes isn't the answer. That is overall, in a nutshell, what you're realizing here. Rushing sometimes isn't the answer. Even though there was so much frustration and annoyance due to other people and the circumstances, you now realize the value of not rushing so much. Although next time, if you are having to wait, you will know that the wait period is not going to be as long as it was this time. Okay. That is another thing I think that you are going to kind of get as a message for next week. Where are you guys, to focus? This is the focus card, King of Pentacles. I think when it comes to your money situation or finances, this also ties into it, right? That you are learning a lot about what to do with your money, what to do with the value that you bring in your job, the value that you bring in any kind of setting, like what you do and your skill set, how valuable they actually are. That is coming to a full expansion at the end of next week. I think a lot of you are going to realize with this King of Pentacles here that you have more than enough in order to move forward now, to get your passion to be real, to have your skills be utilized. When I say skill set, it has something to do with you being very creative and you actually merging your ideas with the skill sets that you have. And I see more than one. So it's not just one thing. So if it's speech, it'll be more powerful. It is dancing, it's more powerful. If you're doing work like this, where you are, forecasting or something like that, it's going to be more powerful because you are learning that there is sort of this ebb and flow in life. And sometimes life will throw curveballs where you have to be in this waiting period. In that waiting period, there's other tools now that you have in order for you to manage that waiting period. But then you become powerful, more powerful as a result of it. And the things that you do have more meaning in your life. That is becoming more powerful too. So that is what I'm seeing here for a lot of you for next week. I also am seeing that a lot of you will get a message here by someone that is going to be a very good message. This is going to be good news expected to come through at least, or by the very least on Thursday. Something you have been waiting for, an answer you've been waiting for, it's going to come through by Thursday. I'm going to pull one last card for you guys with my playing deck card. So this is the Cards of Truth system that I have learned with Nicole Brenny. If you want to know anything about the Cards of Truth, she is your teacher. She's your guide. She's powerful, incredible course. Okay. Cards of Truth. You want to go check her out, Nicole Brenny. All right. So 4 spades. So a little bit of this insight that I'm getting here is that after this week, you are now going to have this period to make who you are in your job, in this task, in the skill set, in this purpose that you're moving into more powerful. That is the period you're going to be moving into. Very clear message. All right. So this was today's live, right? Thank you so much for being here. I hope that you enjoyed this content. I am going to be here live every Friday. Next Friday, I'm going to go live at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I am going to put the schedule into the description content below this video. So if you want to know what's coming up in the next week or two, you will be able to see it there and what we're going to be discussing. Next week is going to be all about Chiron. Is it going to be about Chiron? I better not speak ahead. I don't know if next week is about Chiron. Let's take a look. Hold on one second. Here we go. I'm going to pull up my website because it's on my website and I just want to take a look at this. Forecasts, weekly schedule. I'm going to share the screen with you guys. Let me just do that real quick. Here we go. All right, so here is the schedule for next week. It sure is about Chiron. So we're going to discuss 3 changes when Chiron moves to 12 degrees. This is going to be a forecast for March 21st through the 27th. It's going to be live at 11 a.m. And we are going to just really do a bit more of a dive into Chiron, what I believe Chiron really represents in our chart. And then what the changes are going to be about, because Chiron has been at 11 degrees. So we're going to recap 11 and we're going to take a look at what 12 degrees means. So that I'm really excited about this one. And then the week after that, we are going to take a look at the Aries new moon. Aries season this year is going to be one of the most powerful seasons actually of the astrology, in the sense of if you're wanting to really dive in deep about making changes in your life, this is going to be a good season for that. So that's what I'm seeing here. I'm going to go back into the chat real quick and just see if you guys have any other questions before I dive into. No other questions. Okay, great. So how can you work with me? I want to just share with you real quick. Actually, I'm going to pull this up on my website. Okay, I'm going to pull this up on my website. How can you work with me? So if you go to upriseastrology.com, you're going to be able to get some options on how to work with me. The first one is the live Zoom in-person readings. I just want to say that right now I'm not available to take any readings until about end of June of 2022. So that you need to know. And recorded readings. Recorded readings, they are just 2 versions that are available, okay? Tarot reading or the astrology transit reading. You can ask me anything. If you're wanting to find out about a specific thing, you can ask me about it. It takes me about 21 business days to kind of deliver that right now. So just know sometimes it's sooner, but sometimes it's right on the 21 business days because I do have a lot of readings that I'm doing. And I just want you to know that that is what the delivery date is. But it's a private video and you get a link to it. You only have access to it. And that is the way in which you can get a reading a lot faster. Now, another way that you can support this channel is by supporting my work. There's a donation button under support my work. And that just kind of gives me an opportunity to, continue doing what I'm doing. And of course, every one of us, we're also having to take care of ourselves, right? And put food on our table. And so that's another way that you can support this work. If you feel that you want to donate, there is a way to do it. And thank you for that. Thank you for everyone who has donated so far. I really, really appreciate that. And it's not easy to kind of move into this type of, this line of work where it supports you fully. I do have another job that I'm doing as well. So that is another way that I'm, supporting myself and my family, but the donation button is another way that you can support. So I wanted to talk about that. And again, thank you so much for being here. I'm going to stop sharing. Again, thank you for being here. It was so exciting to start this live show where I get to be a lot more myself, and we're having a longer kind of conversation, working through the transits a bit more in depth. I will be here next week. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and then ring that bell. Then you get a notification on your phone every time there is a new video that comes up, or the notification that we're going live. Again, thank you so much. I appreciate you guys, and I'm wishing everybody the best for next